Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens rundown. My name is Joey Peterson. We got some trade rumors to talk about. These all coming straight from ESPN's lead insider for the National Football League, one Mr. Adam Schefter. He released an article earlier this week that outlined around 33 players that he believes, per his sources, will be on the trade block until the NFL trade deadline. Make sure, speaking of deadlines, we got until the end of the season to get on top of Steelers talk, and right now, they're up 23 subscribers. Not terrible. We've been closer. We've been further. Regardless, we're on second place. I need you guys to help me out, okay? Hit that subscribe button. It's free. It locks you in for daily coverage. And, oh, did I mention? It's free. The NFL trade deadline is sneaking up closer and closer by the day. Of course, I'm talking about Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Already earlier this week, I believe it was Tuesday's show, we covered that Mark Andrews is the only one, that's a Baltimore Raven, that was specifically mentioned by name in Adam Schefter's article. Here is it exclusively. The list of trade candidates that executives and coaches believe could be available in the next few weeks features multiple high-profile players, including Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Trey Hendrickson, Mark Andrews, Bradley Chubb, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Breece Hall, Cameron Jordan, and Riq Woolen. So you see Mark Andrews right there after Trey Hendrickson, and it feels like, personally, he's going to get traded anytime soon. I'll just tell you right now, I'd be a little bit surprised if November 4th comes and goes, and on November 5th, Mark Andrews is still a Baltimore Raven. And it's frustrating because if he was traded in the offseason, you would have saved around $11 million in cap space. Well, now if he's traded, he'll save around $7 million, $4 million less. If he was traded in the offseason, I'm confident you could have gotten in return a fourth-round pick in the 2025 or 2026 NFL Draft. Well, now that you didn't do that, you're going to trade him in the season, you're probably getting a fifth-rounder at best. And I know that seems unrealistic, guys. I promise you. Other than Mark Andrews, there were no other Baltimore Ravens listed by name, okay? Coming up, I'm going to tell you 5 names that Adam Schefter listed that I believe the Baltimore Ravens should look at and maybe try to swing for in a big trade. Before that, though, make sure you get in that comment section down below and let me know straight up, okay? Should the Ravens trade Mark Andrews? Yes or no? I know it's a loaded question. He's got a lot of history in Baltimore. You might not want to answer it, but I want you to. Give me a yes or a no in the comment section down below. So Baltimore is in an interesting spot because they go into this time where you're getting closer to the trade deadline, and you have 5 draft picks in the 5th round. If there's anything we know about Eric DeCosta is that he loves hoarding as many draft picks as he can. Last year, I believe you had 4 fourth-round picks, and you didn't trade any of them in the offseason. And I desperately wanted you to, and I want that to happen again this year. You don't need 5 fifth-round picks. You also have 2 picks in the 7th round. You're the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl contenders, and I get it. It's hard to hear that. It's hard for me to say that when you're 1-5. But if you believe coming into this season you can win a Super Bowl, and you believe you could do that in the future with a guy like Lamar Jackson at the helm, what the hell do you need 11 or 12 draft picks for? You could swing it with your draft picks. You could swing it with your cap space. You're sitting at $14.25 million in cap space right now. That is the richest you have been since, I don't know, halfway through last season. So when we talk about who I want them to trade for, when we talk about these candidates, I'm looking at 5 of the Baltimore Ravens' biggest needs, okay? Edge rusher, interior offensive line. I think that's 1 and 2. Linebacker, defensive line, cornerback depth. I think those final 3 could kind of go in any order. Maybe interior defensive lineman of those final 3 is the most important. Regardless, these are the 5 things, in my opinion, that you need. So let's start with edge rusher. How about Jaelan Phillips of the Miami Dolphins? The Miami Dolphins, if you guys don't know, it's almost guaranteed that they are going to be sellers at the deadline. And our great friend, Ricky Scoops, we like to call him the People's Insider, he made his return to Twitter this week. I believe it was on Wednesday. And he said the Dolphins are actively shopping Jaelan Phillips, a name to watch, as the trade deadline approaches. Sounds like Miami is ready to move him. Teams are also calling about Chubb, Waddle, and Achane, okay? Phillips has been really the only good thing about Miami on defense. Their defense has been horrible. Their team has been horrible. But Jaelan Phillips has shined throughout this season, kind of like he's been doing throughout the entirety of his career. If you look at the stats and the PFF grades, they're pretty dang solid. Overall is a 66.9. Pass rush grades at an 80.1. That's top 15 in the NFL. 20 pressures on the season, only 1 sack. But still, 20 pressures is phenomenal. The cost would be up there around $8.5 million. And that's because he is on the final year of his deal. So he has a pretty expensive contract right now. And if you traded for him, I feel like it would be a, trade and sign, opposite of a sign and trade, where you trade for a guy and then extend him on that contract. Drop a name for me down below. Name a player you think the Ravens should trade for. I've given you 1 name. I'm about to give you 4 more, but I want to hear from you guys down below in that comment section. While you're down there, I got to tell you about our awesome, awesome friends over at PrizePicks. If you download the PrizePicks app right now, use our code CLNS, you can get $50 in lineups. All you got to do is play your first $5 lineup. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You could double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. My alma mater, the University of Tennessee, has their biggest game of the year this weekend on the road against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Give them more on Chris Brazzell, 26.5 longest reception. Give them more on Joey Aguilar, 233.5 pass yards. And Ty Simpson's good, but I don't know why. I'm feeling it. Give them less than 2.5 passing touchdowns. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comment section and description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. We talked edge rusher. Let's talk offensive guard. How about this beautiful, familiar face? One Mr. Kevin Zeitler. It makes way too much sense because you look back to 2023 and the 2024 offseason where you let him go. You let him walk. And it feels like since then, you have just been regretting it, especially this year with how it's gone with Daniel Falele. Well, now Kevin Zeitler is able to be gotten again, and he's having a pretty good season in Tennessee. 69.5 overall grade, that's top 20. Pass blocking grade is top 17. Run blocking, he's at a 66.6. Kevin Zeitler, to you, would be a 1-year rental. And in my opinion, I don't think that's necessarily that bad of a thing. Because you get him for the next 11 games. You feel like you might be able to make a run to a Super Bowl, or at least, sorry, I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Start winning some football games, okay? And then, in the offseason, he'll be 35. If you feel like you want to move on, great, move on. You have Emory Jones right behind him, and you've got your brand new young offensive guard. It's picture perfect. Kevin Zeitler, please replace Daniel Falele. Shelby Harris, this is a name that isn't the sexiest of names. Doesn't quite jump off the page like the other two. But at this point, like in my opinion, if you think about your defensive line, you just need some guys that are going to give you some good football. And Shelby Harris is going to give you some good football. His overall grade's a 66.4. Run defense, 72.0. For those guys in the interior of the defensive line, I don't need you to be Jeffrey Simmons. I don't need you to go out there and give me 5 sacks and 70 pressures. That'd be great. But if you can just be solid and run stopping and give me good depth on the defensive line, I'll be happy. Because like I said before, at this point, you just kind of need bodies. You just kind of need guys. These guys are dropping like flies. Anais Peebles found himself on the injury report. Travis Jones has found himself on the injury report. You don't have Nandi Madubuike for the rest of the year. And I personally would prefer a bigger swing like one Jeffrey Simmons. But unfortunately, and we're going to go into this probably tomorrow, Adam Schefter doesn't believe he's available for trade. And so if you're going to get a defensive tackle, Shelby Harris seems like a realistic one because, of course, as we know, the Cleveland Browns, they're ready to get rid of everybody and start over. Let's talk another Titan. This one in the cornerback room. How about Roger McCreary? Kind of in the same vein as Shelby Harris. Not a super sexy name. Not a name that everybody's talking about. But a guy that's just a good football player, okay? And he's young, which is what I really like. 24 tackles on the year, an interception, a couple of pass breakups as well. He wouldn't cost you a ton. And you need the depth in the cornerback room. Plain and simple. And you could get a guy who's graded at 78 overall, coverage grade 73.6, top 25. Receptions allowed, 19. That's top 10. And again, I get it. PFF isn't gospel. I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all. But I really like this option. I do. Jair Alexander, I'm sorry, he's not doing it for me this year. He's not doing it really for anybody. Marlon Humphrey's in and out of the lineup with injury. He's young. He's cheap. He's good. You got a lot of cornerbacks injured as well. TJ Tampa's been Chidobe Awuzie, he's been on the injury report. Like, come on. Make a move. Get yourself some depth in the secondary where you really, really need it. Pick one to trade for out of those four names. Jaelan Phillips, give me a JP. Kevin Zeitler, give me a KZ. Shelby Harris, give me an SH. Or Roger McCreary, give me an RM. Before we round this thing out, okay, I'm going to give you guys a spicy trade. Here is my spicy trade. Give Cincinnati a call about Trey Hendrickson. Why not? We've seen Cincinnati do dumber things in their history. I get it. Intra-division trades are not very common, especially for superstar edge rushers like Trey Hendrickson. But what's it going to hurt to just pick up the phone? I would do it. And I hope Eric DeCosta does it as well. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you guys have me followed on social media. I'm everywhere, as in Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, okay? YouTube.com/RavensTV. Join us today. So then again, you could join us tomorrow.